what's going on, everyone? Metalblade427 here, and I present to you something a little bit different. It's another one of those hashtag video log challenge, and this one happens to be hashtag funny story challenge. I was actually tagged in this by my friend Zero Score, so I'm putting his annotation somewhere up in here and everything. Definitely head on over there, check out his channel. He has some really cool stuff on it, a great Zelda run he's running through right now. But he did this story initially, and I watched a few other ones. There was another one of the guys that I watch, Azure Raiden. I threw him up here, whatever the opposite side that Zero is on. I saw his video, and both of them had really funny stories to it. And Zero tagged me in it, and he tagged me with the intention of either I currently have a funny story, or I'm going to have a funny story after I get back from Vegas. And technically, this goes live while I'm in Vegas, so you can't know it from there. But I thought about it, and I think I have one that I can throw into here. Now, I have a little bit of a habit of rambling on, so I'm going to try to make this as condensed as possible. In my opinion, all the best stories ever told usually start with the phrase, "Well, there was this one time when I was drunk," and this story begins like that. I gotta say, it was probably, at this point, 10, 11 years ago. Easily. A long, long time ago. And I went up to Marist College up in New York. And I went up there in order to visit one of my friends who was, of course, going to college up there. And it was, I want to say, a week before Thanksgiving. So everyone was still there. Everyone was kind of getting ready to go. And the weekend that I went happened to be a video game convention weekend thingy up there in Marist. Nothing big, really. It was just a school that came together, and they decided to run their own contest. They had Super Smash, they had Dead or Alive, they had some type of sports thing and some type of racing thing, just like a fun thing for everyone to get together. You had all these different events that you kept going to and whatnot, and depending on how you did in each event, determine how many points you get, the move you on, etc, etc, etc. I didn't really rank very high, plus technically you were supposed to be a member of the school in order to participate, but who really cares about that, right? Anyway, so being that it was like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving and everyone was going home and whatnot, the guys inside of the dormitory decided that they wanted to throw themselves a little bit of a Thanksgiving feast and whatnot. Plus, on Saturday night, we went off to, we were supposed to go off to a party, a Thanksgiving party. And technically speaking, I was the only one in the dorm at the time that was 21 years old. So I was the one that was in charge of actually acquiring the alcohol, and I acquired just basic beer and everything. I acquired boxed wine because that's how classy we are, and we threw ourselves together a little feast. I know I personally pre-gamed quite a bit while at the feast, and I say pre-game because we were going to go to the party later. But everyone else was running around drinking, the college drinks. What is that, like Pabst, Blue Ribbon, and all that stuff, and I'm not a big fan of those type of beers. I don't like them, so I was drinking a lot of boxed wine, which really is nasty, but that's kind of what I was drinking. Now, the way that the Marist County dorms are set up is that they're kind of like apartment buildings of sorts, but they're more like condos. I found a picture online that I'm putting up somewhere as well to show you, and you go into one of the doors. You need a key to get in. You need a key to get into the door. You go into the door, and then you're into a living room, and then there's the kitchen behind it, and then there's rooms that branch off from that, and even on the second floor there's a few things. When I was visiting my friend who was there, it was him and like 5 other guys, I was sleeping in the living room on like the couch and whatnot. So that's kind of where I was, and again, point of the story would be, you gotta unlock the door in order to get into it. So we finish up dinner and everything. We're all feeling pretty good and whatnot, very loose, very happy, whatnot, and we move on over to the party. And the party was quite a ways away. It was like on the other side of the campus at more of like, I guess, a standard house place that a bunch of guys were renting. And we went in there, and it was like the guys and the girls and everything. We were all like hanging out and whatnot. And me, and I can remember this kid, Tim, we went on I want to say it was 8 to 10 game winning streak at beer pong. I don't know how the two of us managed to keep going and going and going, but we just kept sinking, and oh man, it was a great time. But you go for that long playing beer pong, especially after drinking a whole lot of box wine beforehand, and it starts the toxicity starts to pile on little by little. And my memory at this point is starting to become fuzzier and fuzzier about the evening's events. So whereas I don't really have too many remaining memories of that evening, I do remember telling my friend that I was feeling tired and a little blaish, so I decided to leave the party early and head back to the dorm and get some sleep. I want to say this is probably about 1:30 in the morning or so, and I went back with one of the other guys because he was done with it as well, so he was able to let me in. So I went back to the dorm with him, I went into the door, and I went into the living room, and I passed out. Personally, that was my last memory of the evening. I woke up at 7:30 in the morning on a couch I did not recognize in a room that did not look familiar to me. I had no idea where the hell I was. I had no idea how the hell I got there. All I remember is at some point in the middle of the night, I remember getting sick and throwing up in some random garbage can. But otherwise that, I had no idea where I was. So what's the first thing you do when you're in a situation like that? You GTFO. And I got out of there as fast as I could. Walking outside of the house, I realized that I was absolutely in a different dorm than what I started in. No memory at all how I got there, no recollection of how I made this journey. Not even any clue how I happened to get into this building. But from what I found out as I made my way back to my friend's dorm, I was... let me think. You're looking at about 6 or 7, long segments of sidewalk, a block, I guess you can say, between where I was and where I should have been. Came to find out that dormitory that I woke up in randomly was one of the girls' dorms, and their lock on their door was broken. Now, as random as that all is, it's a little scary when you think about that lock is just completely broken and any drunk dumbass like myself could just pop it open and go in. And not only that, not a single one of them knew I was there, because my friend actually knew one of the girls that was in that dorm, and he asked her about it later on in the week or whatever, and she's like, no idea, no one knew, but they did know that someone vomited in their trash can. So everybody's saying, that was me. So I hiked myself back, I guess that's like a walk of shame or whatever, right back to my friend's dorm and went back in and went to sleep. And actually there's a bit of a time frame that goes with it as well, because I know that I got back to the door around 1:30 in the morning, and then the next person to come in after me came in at 2:30. So between 1:30 and 2:30, I decided to take a walk. No memory of it whatsoever. No idea how I happened to find that one dorm with the broken lock to go in, but that is what happens. Apparently I blacked out and my body took control, and some of the random personality within inside of me decided, hey, let's go for a walk. You know, I have been told that when I get really blackout drunk, a different personality comes out. His name is Walter. Second interesting part about that weekend probably was in the continuations of Sunday. You know, that was just kind of the day I was going to go home and whatnot, but, you know, what do you do when you're drunk and kind of all tipsy and whatnot the day after with a bit of a hangover? You play a video game. And actually, that was around the time when Mega Man Anniversary Collection came out for the GameCube, and I remember throwing it in the system, turning on Mega Man 2, and playing it. And when I started it, I had one of the guys that was in the dorm with me come up and see that I was playing it. He said, oh, it's a good game, yada, 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 and he left. Mind you, I had started it. He came back, I want to say, 45 minutes later or so, and I had gotten 3 more people sitting on the couch watching me play, and I think I was in the Wily stages at that time. So everyone sat down and they watched me kind of speed run through Mega Man 2. So that's an appropriate thing to throw onto this, because it is, you know, my favorite game and whatnot. And apparently that also went down as some type of legend or whatever, at least for the day, because my friend Paul went up to Marist as well on Sunday. He was meeting somebody up there and whatnot. And he heard about it. He heard about, oh, did you hear about the kid that beat Mega Man 2 in such a quick time? It was crazy, yada, yada, yada. He's like, what did he look like? Da, 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 da. Oh, I know that guy. I know. So my friend Paul, just plain Paul, the guy that's going to be doing Final Fantasy Fridays with me or whatever, he's my verification of the story that, well, at least that part of the story of me being, the Mega Man run through and everything. But I'm pretty sure he heard about along campus as well, the fact that I decided to sleepwalk, per se. So that was my story that I wanted to share with you guys. I have a few random drunk stories and whatnot, but that's the one that came to mind, mainly because, it has to do with gaming and all that other stuff and everything along that ways. Thank you, Zero Score, for tagging me in this. I hope this satisfies your need to hear random stories from me. I'm sorry I don't have a video to go with it. This event had no video tied to it. There is another drunk story that I have that had a video tied with it. The guy that took the video I don't talk to anymore, unfortunately, so I don't have any means of getting that video. It did involve me vomiting on some girl, though. That's freaking classy now, isn't it? But that's a story for another day. So I think I'm going to do what Zero did for this and just kind of leave it like an open challenge thing. Anybody want to come in and watch this, by all means, and you want to do your own hashtag funny stories challenge or whatever, by all means, make yourself a video. I'm going to throw up Darklight, Bros, Catharsis, and Rudrake just to tag people in it. You guys don't have to do this, but if you want to share a random story about your life or whatever that you think is funny that you want to go with everybody else, then by all means, throw up a video. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I do have a tendency of rambling on so much, so I hope that I condensed it enough to make it interesting and flowed it so everybody understood what's going on. But yeah, rate and comment down below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can get equipped with me, Metal Blade 427. You probably noticed some changes going on around the channel at the moment, new banner, and then some new stuff is starting up this week, so I'm very excited to see it all, and yeah, that's pretty much it. End of vlog. You guys have a good one, and I will catch you all later.